Today we're going to talk a little bit about my strategy for pairing up my male and female Western Hingeback Tortoises, or Kinixys nogueyi. For everyone out there that's familiar with the term Bell's Hingeback, Kinixys nogueyi was formerly Kinixys belliana nogueyi. They're the species that were from West Africa. It's what we called Bell's Hingebacks here in the US, and most of the animals that came back here came to the US in the 90s were in fact Bell's Hingebacks. So what's really cool right now is that I do have all four of my Hingebacks paired together, and I'm inside, and it's really the first time that I've paired the Hingebacks together inside successfully and had them mate. So I want to tell you about that, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it. This is the second year that I've actively tried to breed Western Hingeback Tortoises. I live in Ohio, and in the summertime it is very hot and very humid, and that makes wonderful conditions for these Western Hingeback Tortoises to live outside. I can keep them outside from early May through October 15th, give or take. There's opportunities to have them outside. And for my pair number one, those animals, they are only paired up until this point outside. So I only put the animals outside when I am home. So that is the weekends and evenings during the work week. So they're out all weekend, and then about 5 to 9:30 during the work week. When I put those animals out for the summer, they have not seen each other for months. So initially, when that male sees the female, he does go after her. He does try to mount her, but that's very early in their breeding season. He'll eventually stop trying. She's not receptive, and it won't be until those days at the end of August where the temperature gets a little cooler, more like September, and that humidity drops. That's what I see is the target where that male Hingeback will start pursuing the female Hingeback again, and late August, most of September and October, he will be trying to mate with her. So when those tortoises aren't able to be outside anymore, they come back in. And last year, I did try to pair up the male and the female in October inside, and it was a disaster. I put him in her cage, and he just bit the heck out of her, was super aggressive, and she just hid in the corner with her head in her shell. So that was unsuccessful. About a month ago, I paired my number two up, and that female wanted nothing to do with the male, and I made quite a long video showing all of her rejections of that male. So today is the first time that I successfully paired them where we've actually had some breeding activity. What changed? Well, in the spring, I talked to Jeremy Thompson. Jeremy is the Kinixys Co-op on Instagram, and he's been really successful breeding all types of tortoises, but most recently focusing on Hingeback tortoises. And what he said to me, he said, I wait until the females lay their first clutch, and then I pair them up with the males again. So that's what I did today, and we did have some success. That same female that completely rejected the male a few weeks ago was very receptive today. So it really just shows you that these animals, their hormones, their seasonality, it's all tied together, and watching the animals, observing the animals, is what we all need to do better to make sure we're pairing them up at the right time. Pair number one, the pair that's never had success inside at all, that's the male that just totally went after the other female. I put those two together. Okay, it's been about an hour. I don't believe they've successfully paired up, but they're being cordial. The female is just kind of gradually walking away from him, just like she does outside, and then one day I'll just come and take a look at the cage, and those two will be connected. So what an interesting phenomenon. These tortoises, they have their seasons, they have their hormonal cycles. We just have to learn about those and understand those. I keep my tortoises in separate pens inside, so I give breaks for those animals, the males and the females will only be together for about an hour or two until they can successfully mate. And if they don't, I'll separate them and they'll go back to their individual tubs. The females, I keep 1 per 110-gallon Tough Stuff stock tank or tub. They're cheap. They're cheapest at Rural King, but you can also get them at Tractor Supply. Between $60 and $80 for these tubs. And for the males, I keep those in 2 feet by 4 feet metal tubs, 1 foot high. They don't have to be as tall because they're not laying eggs. Those 110-gallon Tough Stuff tubs, I can put a good 8 to 10 inches of substrate in, and those female Western Hingeback Tortoises will lay eggs perfectly. Thank you very much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this strategic look at how I'm pairing my male and female Western Hingeback Tortoises, Kinixys nogueyi. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Remember to like and subscribe, and go Hingeback Tortoises.